You know, outside of the extremism on the right, you got extremism on the left. Heck, I went out with a girl the other day, and her mom believes that if Trump becomes president, that her other daughter, who is gay, is going to prison. That's the fear. So on one side, we got people who believe that if they don't get a gun to protect their pets, that they're going to get eaten, and that motorsports is going under. And then on the other side, we got people who think that if Trump wins, all the gays are going to concentration camps or prison, and that he's going to become a leading dictator guy, and they're going to change the whole landscape of politics in America and kill democracy. That's the extremism on the other side. This Project 2025. I mean, I'm not professed in Project 2025. I pay attention to right wing manipulation. Let's see, we did a little search. Project 2025. Oh, wow. Project 2025 and the radical left. Boogeyman on both sides. This is Chris Cuomo. Okay, so I don't know if I should watch this. Let's see what this Project 2025 is about, though. Maybe he'll describe it.
This is the fear factor of this election.
Okay.
One side is they're trying to destroy the values and fabric of America. Right? The left.
The left, yeah.
With all their weird gender things and the replacement theory and Pizzagate and every other kind of crazy to say that they're the weird ones. Then on the other side, it's Project 2025. That the plan here...
So this is what the left is all afraid of, guy. This is like the dogs and cats getting eaten thing.
Is a crazy alt-right putting all power in a president to take away all of the parts of government that conservatives don't like, help nobody, give...
That sounds like a drain the swamp idea.
...to the president, screw up the balance of power of checks and balances and the three things, and let Trump be a despot. Let's unpack both and see where there is any truth. And here's the good news. There's truth. There's truth.
Oh, yeah.
Because it never works as a boogeyman. No conspiracy theory works without a modicum of truth. There's got to be something there to attach to, and there is in both of these propositions. Which one should matter more to you? Well, that's for you to decide, but here's some food for thought. Harris, most radical senator. Yeah, she's lefty. No question about it. What does that mean, radical? Well, let's look. Does she want all of your kids and illegal aliens to get a free this and gender surgery and free houses? Ish. They believe in tolerance of identity. And they believe in teaching openness to tolerance. Meaning what? That they do want your kids to learn in school that maybe it's not just male and female. Maybe it's not just...
See, this is where I disagree. I don't think it should be taught to kids. Maybe adults, but that's not where adults can learn that on their own, but I don't think it should be taught to kids. It alters reality.
Just chromosomal. Maybe you don't come out of the chute one of two ways. Maybe
you don't come out one or two ways, but in most cases you do. Most. But this is back to tolerance, I would assume.
Different than that. Maybe we should be open to it. Do you like that? Yes, no. I don't want my kids learning that in school. No. Legit.
Right.
Legit. Does it mean that she wants your kids to be transgender? Now we're in Trump land.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She wants to make your kid want to have his dick chopped off. Right? That's what you hear. Right.
This Chris Cuomo is going a little harder than I thought in the paint. He's going hard in the paint. Wow. He just literally said dick chopped off. I may have to subscribe to this sumbitch.
But why hide from it? Why not be candid? Is that true? Of course it's not true. Tim Walz is the Manchurian Candidate. Tim Walz is a name you'd never heard of and probably still don't pronounce right until some Democrats decided that Shapiro was not a safe enough choice, the Pennsylvania governor. Yeah. Sure as hell wasn't that once Harris met Shapiro, she decided they weren't a good fit. She knew him. Shapiro wasn't safe because of his position on Israel, maybe a little bit that he was too good, showed her up a little bit, combination effect of those things. But Tim Walz was an afterthought. He's not a Manchurian Candidate. He hasn't always been the plan. That's bullshit. This is all ad hoc. They didn't know that Biden was going to get out.
See, but he's speaking towards the conspiracy theorists, the extreme right, the trance, the boogeyman. This is good.
came quickly to the decision that it had to be Harris because there was more downside to it not being her than upside to anybody else. This isn't a plan. This is chaos. But they recovered. Well, what about the Medicare for all? What about the Green New Deal? What about all these things? There is no question that the progressive flank of the Democratic Party wants more government muscle put to social conditions. There's no question. There's no question that they believe that the...
So what he's basically doing here is he's separating the show. He's separating the puppet act versus what actually is happening. So this is actually good. This is rationality. I'm surprised. I didn't think I would find this in a Cuomo piece.
future of our economy is green and that we should invest in it now and get ahead of the curve. Is that good or bad? It's about how. I don't think that they should be muscling you into an EV. We're not ready.
Right.
Our power grid isn't ready. Our capacity to make batteries in a way that is net good for the environment is in doubt. And this is America. We don't tell you what to drive. We don't do that here. So I think it's a mistake, but it's about degree. It's about degree. There's no question that they want more government services. It's no question that they want more government involvement in healthcare. There's no question. Is that a good or a bad thing? Depends on how you do it. So the point...
So he's opening up choices here. These are the actual choices that are at hand. This is good.
Understanding the boogeyman on each side is to take the boogeyman out of it
Right.
and look at it for what it really is.
Right.
You know, this is the problem with the immigration play in Springfield, Ohio, about them eating the dogs. That's a bullshit scare tactic for a real issue.
Right.
Springfield,
That's exactly, dude, this guy's taking it right out of my mouth here.
Ohio is a bad look for the state of play in this country. It's a bad look for a broken immigration system. But don't say they eat dogs. Don't demonize the people, because now you defeat your own purpose.
Exactly.
Which is to be constructive and about making us better. So Harris has changed her positions. What does that tell you? Said she was against fracking. Now she's for fracking. Why? Because fracking is a boogeyman on the left. They see fracking as kind of the same thing as destroying the environment.
The new 2024 GMC.
Dude, this is like really good. Let's see where we go with this fracking deal, because obviously Harris was against it on camera. We've all seen the clips, and then she flips. So let's see what he's going to say here. This could be good. Because this is something that I see a lot of the right wingers, the dirt track community, for instance, always pushing these say one thing, do another situations. Let's see here.
Well, why do I say they say it? I don't agree. No, I don't agree. And the idea of outlawing fracking? No. It's about whether or not they'll allow it on public lands. You know, they say in Pennsylvania, where they had the debate, she would make it so that nobody can frack here. That's bullshit. That's a lie. No, they've said she wants to ban fracking on public lands. This is the same thing on the other side that they said about lowering insulin prices. Yeah, for people on Medicare. What about for everybody else? Most people aren't on Medicare or Medicaid.
The lies.
You didn't lower prices for them.
The puppet
See
show.
what I'm saying? You got to take the boogeyman out of it. He doesn't want you to have insulin. We gave you insulin. We lowered the prices. Ish. You did it. It was a good thing, but it wasn't for everybody. See what I'm saying? You got to look at it. It's a matter of how. It's about the degree. You got to take the boogeyman out of it. Well, what else? She changed all her positions. That's a problem. She says, but my values never changed. Well, what is the value? Winning? Right? Why did you change all these positions? Because you thought it would help you get elected. Is that bad? Not necessarily. But you got to make the case. Let's go into the weeds. Values versus principles. Semantics? No. Okay, so what's your value? Your value is fairness.
I guess he's going to break down the psychology of the situation first.
Things should be fair. That's a value. What's a principle? Administration of justice. Law and order. Those are principles. Well, what's the difference? One is an idea. The other is the application of that
Right.
idea to action. So I believe in fairness, so I want justice. I want
I want EV vehicle, for instance, I want all the EV vehicles in the world, but can you actually implement that? That's what he's talking about.
fairness under law. I want laws that make sense and order. I want to execute on those laws and enforce those laws. My values have not changed. But what about the principles upon which you base your policy decisions?
Right.
See, I don't care if you change your position. You are not a boogeyman. You are not a Manchurian candidate. You are not a radical left plant to destroy the fabric of America. If as facts change, you change what you think should be done to fulfill the principles that are an extension of your values. So what does that look like? Let's take a hard one. Fracking. Okay, I say you frack. You allow frack. And you let the market decide, and you have regulations on how you frack so that you protect the things that have to be protected. But you said you were against it. I know, but now I understand it better, and I think that I understand the safety things different, and I don't want to do it as much on public lands because I don't think it's necessary, because descriptions of what keeps gas and fuel prices, energy prices down is being deceived by the
100%.
discourse. It's a deceptive discourse.
Yep.
How so? America is pumping and refining more fossil fuels than ever before.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Just got through telling y'all that.
But not as much as we could. Okay. What I said is still a fact.
Right.
The price is the lowest it's been since 2021 for crude. Why?
This will be interesting.
Because it's a world market. Because we don't just determine our gas prices. We can do a little bit, play with our supplies. We can do a little bit to control prices, but not that much. Well, then why were they lower under Trump? Because the world market was different. Now we're coming out of a pandemic. And
Right. Inflation is up for the entire world. We're actually one of the best countries as far as inflation. I know everybody complains about it, but everyone's complaining about it. We're not the only ones. And it's hard to sit back and hear like a Trump, for instance, blame another side when it's like, even if you were in power, you would be in the same scenario. I guess the other side would blame you if you would have won 2020.
most people are not recovering the way we did. We're doing better than most. Look at China. Now, look, they may be kicking our ass because they don't have to care about their people. They have heavy deflation. Their stock market is tumbling. Why? They didn't handle coming out of the pandemic as well as we did. Yeah, but we have inflation. I know, because we put a lot of money into our things. They did not put any money into it because they don't give a shit about their people. Prices tanked, and they have a deflationary problem, which is way more scary to an economy than inflation. Much harder to control.
Yeah.
Google it. You'll see. Ask ChatGPT. You don't have to believe me. So the idea that Harris and Walz are radical plants as a boogeyman, and that if you vote for them, your kids are going to get fucked up. And they're going to ask for weird shit. And what America is going to change.
This is what I've heard all the time in from some of the biggest people in motorsports who are right-leaning to just general conversations and campgrounds and grandstands and bars. And this is why I'm speaking up, because that is a radical viewpoint, but it's your side's radical viewpoint. I'm interested on the other one.
Is that true? I don't think so. Do I think the dialogue, do I think there's too much emphasis put on identity and gender? Yeah, I do. And I don't think it's good for diversity in this country either. Because when you force people to accept something, you're asking for resistance to the same thing, and you're putting a target on the backs of people. So I would be careful about that.
Right.
I believe in tolerance. I also believe in the mind your own fucking business rule.
Right.
Which we seem to have forgotten in this country.
Well, and that goes back to me, is it right or wrong to tell people about these genders and things? Who knows? It's none of my business, but putting it on kids is different. Yeah, mind your own business. So it's a hypocrisy. Once again, I always say hypocrisy is the biggest evil.
I used to love the line during the gay marriage debate, which was a no-brainer equal protection argument. No, marriage is for us. Who are you? Marriage was a construct of convenience to control populations by the church. What are you talking about? Do your homework.
Right.
I don't like gay marriage. It's supposed to be a man and a woman.
Well,
That's
mind
your
your fucking
belief.
business.
You don't like
Right.
gay marriage. Don't marry a gay person.
Right. That's good.
I love that idea. Equal protection, baby. You know, you do not get to tell me how to live unless it affects how you live.
Right.
Let's stick to that here. I want to change my gender. What do you care? Well, but I don't want to pay for it. Fair.
Right.
Fair. See? So it's about how. It's not about yes, no. Yes, no is a cheap way to create a boogeyman, to create division,
Mm-hmm.
to get your vote easy.
Right.
And that's what our politics is addicted to,
Yeah. It's a show.
because it's easy. And it works best in a binary zero-sum game of two parties. You win, they must lose.
Mm.
And now we've allowed that to transfer into our Congress.
Tribalism.
Opposition is a legitimate position. Cooperation is weakness.
Right.
Don't
So
give
nothing
them any
ever gets
wins.
done.
Trump saying don't pass the immigration bill. Oh, it wasn't a great bill. It was better than nothing. Ah, was it? Was it better than nothing? No. Nothing is better for the boogeyman,
Right.
because the boogeyman argument is you can't let them do anything.
Right.
These crazy lefties are going to let in all these people. Look how they let them all in. Now let's make the people they're letting in very scary. Very scary. Migrant crime. We have a new thing, migrant crime. No, we don't have a new thing called
What? We don't have migrant crime? I've been seeing it everywhere.
migrant crime. Google it. To the extent that we have criminality in our society, which we do,
They're legally robbing you.
So this is interesting because I did see how gang members in Chicago are mad about Venezuelan gang members. And somehow we're aligning with the gang members in Chicago, even though it's all crime. I get that. So it is kind of a funny joke, I guess. I don't know if that's what he's about to allude to, but I did find that kind of hypocritical. Let's see what he says about this migrant crime.
it is not rampantly on the increase, as Trump wants you to believe. Migrants are not the source of spikes in crime. Well, but one is too many. Please apply that standard to everything else.
Ooh.
Because I think one is too many with you making it okay for the cartels to ram fentanyl down my kids' throats.
Right.
That's what I think. I think one is too many with you allowing mental health to just go untreated because you don't believe in allowing us to monitor our own and try to help people who can't help themselves. I think one is too many there. I think one too many is homeless vets.
Yeah.
That's what I think. One is too many. But you don't give a shit about any of those things except to talk about it. But when it comes to migrant crime, one is too many.
Right.
All
Hypocrisy.
kinds of fucked up things happen in this country all the time. All kinds of death and sex crimes that shouldn't happen because of a system that doesn't work well. But all that is just fodder for debate. But when it comes to migrants, one is too many. Bullshit. Bullshit. If that's how you felt, you would have passed that bill, even if it was imperfect. If that's how you felt, you would have had those executive orders early on as Joe Biden, not later. It's bullshit. It's playing to the boogeyman.
Playing the sides,
Support for the
guys.
Chris
Playing
Cuomo
the fucking sides. This is what I'm talking about. They work together in these situations. Come on now, Project 2025. Let's hear what
That's
the
the
left.
left. Now we look at the
Okay.
right.
All right, here we
Project
go.
2025.
What are they scared
Have you read it?
of?
Good. Don't. It is so tedious. I'll give you the summary of what
Once
it is.
again, this is the thing that the left believes. I met somebody here recently. They think that their gay sister or the mom thinks their gay daughter is going to prison.
It is a comprehensive concentration of power in the president that would allow a president to have a lot more control over the agencies of government, specifically to remove them, to get rid of the bureaucracy,
This really sounds like Drain the Swamp, guys.
and then, of course, replace it with their own. Because that's the only reason. What's fueling the idea of you have to get rid of the deep state is to replace it with your own people. It's right in Project 2025.
Drain the Swamp.
They don't hide it. You know, that's one of the things that really galls me, that really pisses me off, is that they don't even hide this shit anymore. That stuff about the conventions and the skyboxes and all the money, that's not hidden. It's right in your face. They have a menu that tells you if you pay this much, you get meetings with our leaders. They don't hide it because you can't do shit about it because they don't respect
The
how you're going to
peasants.
feel about it. You're lemmings. to the two parties? How can we coax these people to be scared enough to not vote for the other side?
Right.
That's why I say fuck them.
Wow.
That's why I refuse to
This
pick a side,
Cuomo,
because I
man.
hate the game.
Hate the game.
And I mean it. And that's why it's hard for me to develop a following the way these other guys do. But that's why I'm not looking for the big numbers of following, because I don't want to do what I have to do
this
to get it.
video is amazing. It was posted 2 days ago. It's got 48K. That's lower than Dirt Tracker, for crying out loud, on some of his videos. But this is amazing content here. This is what both sides need to hear. This
Project 2025 isn't part of Boogeyman. Why? It's not people saying they want Trump to be a dictator. And yes, a lot of his policy proposals echo what's in Project 2025. See? He's lying. He is about it. No, they're just traditional conservative principles. Like them or not like them, that you can argue it either way. Yeah, but they want to collapse all these different governments. Conservatives have always wanted to reduce the size of government. They just never really get to do it. And when they do have a chance, they spend just as much money and extend government as much as anybody else. Look at the Infrastructure Act that they rail on all the time. Guess who got the majority of green economy projects? Republican states.
really?
Almost 2 out of 3.
Wow. Manipulation.
What the fuck? You see the boogeyman effect?
Manipulation.
Wow. Red states got 66 or so % of the green projects?
Wow.
Yeah. But they say it's all bad. I know.
That's a lie.
That's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Project 2025 is a boogeyman also. No, Trump wants to be a despot. Maybe,
Yeah.
but I don't think so. I don't think he has the intelligence, the ambition, or the strategic sense to make that happen. And Project 2025 isn't, even the unitary executive, it's not despotic. Do I like it? No, not necessarily, but that's my choice and an argument to make. But it's not a boogeyman. And Harris is leaning on it too much. Why? Because it's easier than making the case for herself.
Right. It's lazy.
It's easier to scare you. Don't
Right.
vote for him. He's a psycho who wants to be a dictator. That's why he likes dictators. That's why he just told you he doesn't want Ukraine to win the war. Okay, and that's what it is. But is it true? No. I mean, that shit about him not saying that Ukraine should win was terrible.
Playing
I don't
his
know
part.
why he said that, but he did. But is Project 2025 enough reason not to vote for him? Only if you are against conservative ideology.
Right.
But not because it means that he is going to be a dictator when he gets in and that they have it all figured out already. That is as much bullshit as Walz being a Manchurian candidate, Harris being a closet communist. Socialist isn't enough anymore. Not enough. Got to go full commie.
Right.
Not even with a short rest stop at Pinko.
Right.
Pinko. You know what a Pinko was? You're too young. Google it. Pinko was light red. Not full red commie, pink.
Basically, so the calling Bernie Sanders and all these people socialists 4 years ago scared you enough to not vote for them. Easy way to politic. And now what he's saying is, well, socialist was used. It's not going to make the same impact. So now they have to say communist and more extreme things to get you more afraid, because the base level of socialist, that won't work. So now we got to say communism.
And it was nice to say pink because it was kind of feminizing, right? It was kind of like, it was debasing to people who believed that there should be a better
Political extremism.
sharing of wealth in this society. God forbid, right? No, I shouldn't say God forbid, because that was Jesus's message. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Don't live your faith.
Hypocrisy.
See, that's why I go at these things. I go at them because of the hypocrisy and the absurdity of them. And I want you to see it and use it as food for your own process of what choices make the most sense for you and your family and what you care about and who you care about. No, I don't think Harris is a communist. And I think it's stupid to suggest that because it disrespects your intelligence. And no, I don't think Walz is a Manchurian candidate. I don't think there's anything deliberate about any of this. Are they for more aggressive lefty policies? Yeah. Is it a tax and spend play? No, not as simple as that. They're doing targeted tax cuts, and that's about choices. Trump made choices with his as well. The idea that he didn't have anything to do with inflation, how the fuck do you explain an unpaid for tax cut and spending the likes of we'd never seen from a conservative administration before?
That's probably why
How
they
does he
like him.
explain that?
That's probably why they like him,
Numbers
because
don't
they're able
lie.
to use Trump and his theatrics to get away with spending more as a Republican individual and party.
Politicians do. So Harris and Walz, boogeyman, commie plans? No. Project 2025 makes Trump a dictator. It's all in the works. Can't vote for him. Look, it's on his website. No. Don't play their game. Know that idea of change the game, don't let the game change you? Trite but true. All cliches apply in life, I believe. I used to hate them. Every time I would hear a cliche, if you want to get, you got to give. If you want to love, you got to change. If you want to commit, you got to struggle. I used to be like, oh, fuck all that. Silly, hallmark thinking. It's all true. It's all true. The question is what you do with that truth. The reason to not vote for Harris and Walz is because you don't think they can do what they're saying they're doing, or what they're saying they're doing will do doesn't match up with what you think needs to be done. They are not Che Guevara, who, by the way, I was a fan of until the whole Bolivian thing. But Project 2025 does not scare me. And I don't believe in a unitary executive.
It's not possible.
I don't believe in it. I believe in the checks and balances. I don't believe in the deep state. I think it's demonstrably false. I think it's silly to suggest that the FBI is a lefty organization. I've never heard of that. I must know dozens of people who are and were in the FBI. I don't know any of them who are lefties until Trump.
Right.
They just don't like Trump. They don't necessarily like the left. So replacing them with your own people, it's not a boogeyman. Don't allow it to be. And you should judge Harris for doing that. And you should judge Trump and his acolytes for saying that she's a commie. He's a Manchurian candidate, Walz from Minnesota, who you never heard of before. But this has been in the works all along. Give me a fucking break.
QAnon people, man. QAnon. Extreme rights.
See it for what it is. In a battle of the boogeymen, one thing is sure. You lose.
Yeah.
Because you get foisted upon you two false propositions. If you vote for Harris, we're going to be communistic. No more capitalism. Now, I will tell you this. That price gouging shit is a mistake. It's not price gouging. It's what the market will bear. And it's a very, very difficult conversation because you can't have the government get involved with pricing. Even with milk and stuff like that, it's gotten very complicated.
See, the problem with that statement is you can't have government get involved with corporate pricing, but corporate people can get involved with government and dictate it and bully it based on their pricing that they're willing to set. So this is where it's like, okay, when does government step in and say, hey, stop fucking our society around? So it's a question mark.
This is a capitalist society. The market bears what the market bears.
No,
You got to be careful with that. And look, and I know that's frustrating because the market didn't bear it when we needed to bail their asses out.
Right.
True. And it's good to hear President Bush talk about how fucked up it was to be listening to Paulson and Bernanke and give all that money to banks that didn't really need it, that weren't too big to fail. Because none of us are too big to fail, right?
Yeah, fuck you.
They let us fall through the cracks all the
peasants.
time, right? You don't get the bankruptcy protections and reorganization abilities that companies do. Well, that's because they hire lots of people. Do they take care of their workers? Or do they just, workers have to, they can't afford to do any worse, so they got to accept what they're getting?
This is good.
That's the conversation. Nobody wants to have that conversation.
Right.
Price gouging, she says, and I'm going to control it. How? How are you going to do that without affecting capitalism? I don't like that. She's setting herself up for the commie shit.
Right.
Don't be upset that they're calling you a commie when you talk about central planning of your economy.
Playing the side, though.
Her people can't answer that shit. They know that that's too much. But is it a boogeyman? No. It's not hiding under your bed. It's not imaginary in your closet. It's real. It's a policy choice. And by the way, it happens to be bullshit. because she's not going to be able to do anything like that. Congress will never go for that. So why even say it? Is it a better idea? I don't know. That's for you to decide. Is it a boogeyman? Is it proof that, she's Fidel Castro? No, that's cheap. It's playing you for a sucker. Project 2025. There's plenty in there not to like. But the idea that it is a formula to change America into Venezuela is also a boogeyman. I don't buy it, and neither should you.
Wow. Wow, this guy, he really nailed it there. I mean, I know we're getting our sun shining in on us, but that was a little bit of a sun shining in. Hold on, let me fix that real quick. There we go. We're not as bright, but that was interesting what was just said there. I've never followed this Cuomo. I know he's got some ties or whatever, but the breakdown, I was looking for a 2025 breakdown, but the way he just broke down both sides, because I'm already professed in the manipulation of the right wing, because I see it all day through this dirt track races community. It pisses me off so bad when I see all these people I care or know buying the boogeyman, I guess we're calling it, theories that are going on out there. And it's disgusting. But then, like I said, ran into some people and they're buying this Project 2025 boogeyman. And it's like, I know the extreme right's full of shit and what they're saying on my Facebook and in my comment sections. So what's this other side that I'm pretty sure is full of shit as well? Oh, gays are going to prison. Although, how he was describing that Project 2025 of realigning this and that sounds like Drain the Swamp. Sounds like what some right-wing followers would cheer for. Multiple years of manipulation in the theatrics. Y'all would bite that bullet, which is why people don't just label Trump in these ways. They label the followers in that way because they see y'all as people who would cheer for a Project 2025 to be manipulatedly implanted. Instead of saying we're going to realign governments and take this away and make Trump a dictator, we're just going to drain the swamp. We're just going to take this out. We're going to take down the deep state. We're going to implement this, implement that. Yes, it's very true, see? Y'all would cheer for that. When really it's these things that the left is so extremely scared of. This was very good, though. I'm extremely intrigued. I can't believe a Cuomo, although the views are down. Like he said, when you try to speak rationality, you're not going to get the views. It ain't playing the game. It's not the stage game. So the stage game don't get promoted. So you ain't going to get promoted if you're not on that stage playing the game, joining a side where all the people are. If you're in the middle, turning to all the people saying, y'all are all full of shit, you're not watched, you're not viewed. You're getting about the same as Dirt Tracker in the racing community as far as views. Whether you've been on TV most of your life and have all these connections in political spectrums or not, like he does. But this is how much the truth or a logical perspective is throttled back. You don't see this stuff everywhere. Why? Because the money that is made, not only in attention through different campaigns and their fundings, but also the money that is made in y'all watching the theatrics while they're pulling the shit off in the background, like I was talking about with the gas earlier. That's a very valuable game that is played. Very valuable. It literally is manipulating most people in society and manipulating society in itself. It's insane. And wow, I'm actually pleasured to run across this Cuomo project. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I am subscribing to a channel live here. Also, you should subscribe to this channel because we're aligned with this way of thinking. Getting rid of all the bullshit, and I'm glad he said hypocrisy finally there in the video. So that's what we're all about. And damn, that was good. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I don't have no evidence to support dirt racing going down if the Democrats get into power. I believe Belle Claire, the track Belle Claire in Illinois, their local Democratic government is the ones that have raise the money to invest into that facility. North Wilkesboro came back in this Joe Biden administration. But once again, Joe Biden, in my opinion, is the greatest example of how a president doesn't matter. Business as usual. This vote, this thing is not as important as some of these other elements that are turning in the background, that this theater that is used to distract your mind and attention is able to turn without you doing anything about it, because this is the smoke screen to protect it, to protect the actual ways and movings. You don't believe in deep state, maybe it's Illuminati, or I just call it corporate communism, personally. Because those are the ones that are funding the game, making the chips actually go across the board. Now you have to really go in and look into the policies and actually what people are trying to do and what they're not trying to do. But that's the reflection of the audience in this situation. That's the lazy, or that's the hard way. The lazy way is just to listen to Facebook memes. The lazy voter, the lazy way to vote or endorse is to just listen to Trump spew lies, or Kamala Harris spew lies, or Project 2025, or pets getting eaten. These are all the lazy ways to actually support some style of democracy. But it's convenient. I guess this all kind of goes back to me saying we're in a TikTok society. Nobody wants to take the time to go and actually see what's happening. You're just listening to these talking heads that play this game that is so manipulationally powerful that you are manipulated. You are a subject of that trance, that ploy. But maybe if we were a little bit more individualistically sound and responsible into what we believe and what we're actually voting for, then we could actually have some rational conclusions. But it's definitely hard to do that in this extremist scenario of politics. This domain is extremely illogical. So it's fine to have an illogical reaction and to have your opinions, but I am not going to sit here and watch my damn dirt track racing community go down the shitter with some of this insanity. So that's why I said something to begin with, and I'm glad we got on here and had the balls to continue and break down even more of it. So once again, racing is, let's clarify, racing is not going down the shitter if the left win this election. The world is not going to end. We are not going to a communist society. Racing may even become better and bigger of all time. And why would I say that? Because we have proof that it has become bigger and better than all time under the Joe Biden damn administration. After COVID. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I still think Trump is fine. Great candidate, great conservative values. But let's get rid of the bullshit. Please, please be more rational in your thinking and understanding and what these people actually want to do. Goal number one, to distract you so they can fuck you on the back end. Goal number two is to manipulate you so that you're cheering for them instead of, potentially going to vote on the other side. They don't want a rational mind. They want an extremist mind that they can control a vote on. It's fucking nuts. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment below, share, subscribe, join the membership, and we will catch you next time.
This is how we ride. This is how we do. Ride mud slide.